Have you ever wondered how your wedding is going to turn out? Whether you've already planned your wedding, having your wedding, or the wedding of the future. We'll look at every astrological sign of the venue, of the guests, of the dresses, all sorts of aspects, down to great details of flowers. All sorts of aspects need to have a look at the whole overall look of the wedding, whether the energies are really going through. So let's start with Aries. If you are an Aries person or you're marrying an Aries person, let's have a look at the overview of the whole before we look at all the details. So first of all, for Aries, the overall look of your wedding and feel of that wedding. It's exciting, isn't it? Right. So Aries. So the overall look of the wedding is the Wheel of Fortune. So you're being very fortunate at this moment that everything will go according to plan. So that's a first good sign. So when we have things that are fortunate, it's going to be really lavish. So paying attention to the big details as well as the minute details is good. So maybe a lot of you have been saving up for this and really want to make a statement. Why not indeed? So using that high energy, using the oranges and the reds are really going to bring that power to the overall feel. Also, you have Six of Spring. So this wedding obviously is going to be a success, which is really good. So make sure that you've got all the team, all the wedding planners on the same page, the family members and everything else. So yes, that's definitely going to be a huge success. And the last overall feel with the Queen of Winter, make sure you are in charge, overseeing everything and really bring your image to light. So let's have a look at the smaller details for Aries, because these details are really going to pay dividends. So when we look at, maybe we can look at the clothes that you're wearing. So the dress, the suits, down to the pages, bridesmaids, flower people. So sometimes this is about big plans. So we're already seeing that it's good to make things flashy or making a statement. So the dresses is the Eight of Summer. So with the Eight of Summer, sometimes our heart needs to be looked at. When we have this aspect, sometimes we don't always get what we want. So having the good communication between everything, dressmakers, what the bridesmaids want, what your partner wants, can be challenging. Now, a lot of you may be looking at tradition, and some of you might want to pull away from what certain family members are trying to persuade you to do or not do. So this can be very challenging, especially when dealing with huge weddings. So if a lot of you have got loads of bridesmaids, groomsmen, and kind of nieces and nephews, and little people, maybe your own small children you've got, and then other people have got different opinions, then sometimes one has to look at the overall issue. So when we look at this, it can be challenging, but it's not impossible. So sometimes it's about really, having feelings involved. And sometimes when we have one set of plan, we can shift it into another plan. So really engage with everyone's opinion. Not everyone's, but those people that matter. So maybe some of you have got a sister or an auntie who's very kind of determined to either not have their person within the wedding party or want. So that this can be a little bit challenging emotionally. So a lot of the times it's always good to delegate to the wedding planner, and maybe get the wedding planner on your side of how that's going to be, because sometimes, a lot of the times, this is about being guided to emotional happiness as well. A bit challenging, isn't it? So now we have the Seven of Winter with that. So because we are dealing with Aryan energy, we don't want too many arguments or too many kind of aspects within this. So the Seven of Winter can be challenging, and you've got to trust, allow that trust to come about with the people that you do trust, i.e. the wedding planner, because they've got the most experience. So really talk things out if there are a little bit of problems. Some of you may have delays in getting the final adjustments to certain clothes, but it's not impossible. So spend valuable time knowing that everything is right. Some of people may either lose weight, put on weight, and that's all. It can be a little bit of an issue. So be prepared for some of that. And the last card of this is Two of the Summer. This is absolutely perfect. Everything will go really, really well. You'll look fantastic. Everyone will look fantastic. So it will come to a kind of conclusion that everyone's fine. Two of Summer, perfect. That perfectness. So everyone's just going to see. So when we look at this, make sure you've got good vantage points. I know this seems a little bit obvious that everyone's going to see the bride and the groom and the bridal party, but make sure that you've got the backdrops of the photographs in place. Obviously, cater for high heels and wet grass. So these could be some of the problems that are needed. So this preparation is definitely, good, because we don't want clothes to suddenly not look as good as they should do. So prepare for that. Minor details, but still details, nevertheless, for Aries. So let's have a look at the guests. What's going to happen with all the guests? Are there going to be any fights? Any drunken brawls? Maybe there could be engagements within the guests. Let's have a look. Let's have a look for Aries. Right, guests of Aries. So if you are an Arian, obviously, or your partner is, let's have a look at your guests. So, for guests for Aries. So, we do have Five of Autumn, which is very much guests finding things difficult at times and challenging. So, maybe some of the guests don't have enough money for gifts, or a lot of people sometimes get married abroad. And so money can be an issue for some guests. Now, we've already said your wedding is going to be quite lavish, very royal. So, it's hard for people when they haven't enough money to give gifts or afford to go abroad or even buy new clothes. It's a bit daunting, isn't it? But so a lot of the times when we look at wedding gifts, makes, I know a lot of people have, to buy certain things in a shop or whatever. So, make contributions to a charity or something like that, just so it makes it slightly easier for people. So money could be a problem for some of your guests. Also, Ten of Winter. So this can be quite challenging for a lot of guests to get there. So as I said before, if you are planning on getting abroad, or things can be done with cars, even for yourself, using the cars, the transportation. Just kind of have a look at that, the logistics of certain people. I know we can't please everyone, all of the guests all of the time, but sometimes this can be as simple as, I have a very big wedding party, but we can't transport them to X, Y, and Z, and we can't have the kind of morning celebrations before everything. So this is for you to think outside the box here quite clearly, simply because things can get a little bit out of hand when we're shuttling people from one venue to the next venue and to people's houses, and when it's late for the children and all sorts of things. So this is being clear, precise about things, per se. So yeah, it can be difficult with that. King of Spring. So I think your partner's going to help with a lot of things, hopefully. This is the Aryan energy as well. So it really means that, again, because your particular wedding is lavish and luxurious, that things can be kind of brought to a head of our understanding. So this is a good energy for guests to understand. So I presume this is going to be one of your speakers within your wedding. It's going to be funny, witty, maybe put on a little bit of a show. There could be a surprise in store. So yeah, everything will come to light that everything's good. So good community spirit, and I think everything will be quite funny. So using wit, using a kind of humour in this. So look forward to the certain speeches. But yeah, that looks all right. So what is all the food and the party aspect? What's that going to be like? Let's have a look at the catering and the happiness, dancing, etc. Let's have a look at that. The catering. Always an important aspect to look for Aries. So first of all, we've got the Five of Summer. So some things can be a little bit disappointing. So make sure you've catered for all your guests. Gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian. All sorts of things need to be having a look at, because sometimes we don't think about that. And there's nothing worse when you're a vegan and all the possibilities of the catering hasn't been catered for. Yeah, because you can feel left out. So catering is very, very important, and being overlooked with one of these things can be an issue. So yeah, disappointments within that. So again, wedding planner should definitely cater for that. Also, you have for this is the King of Autumn. As we said before, your particular wedding is going to be lush, lavish. So when the King of Autumn is here, then you've got everything in your power to make things flourish. Enough money to go around. So yeah, maybe have all the cakes, chocolate fountains, cheese fountains, lots of things for the little children. So maybe having separate tables for them, little sticky fingers everywhere. But yeah, making everything lavish and luxurious, and that's going to be great. Yeah. Also, we've got the ego, which is breaking away. So the temptations. So you'll probably see a lot of interesting hookups in this particular aspect. So food and partying and things like that, it's good. So you probably find a lot of people breaking their diets, which is absolutely fine. This is definitely kind of being tempted with a lot of things, but yeah, make sure yeah, some of the guests might be, look out for them. Sexual hookups. Very interesting. But on the whole, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun at your particular wedding. So all in all, I think that looks quite good. So I might make these actually separate so people can find them. So good luck with your marriage, and it looks quite good, but don't underestimate the small details. Good luck, guys. Enjoy that wedding.